The history of World War II armored warfare is often told through standardized, mass-produced tanks, yet this view obscures a parallel reality of extraordinary experimental effort. Across all major combatants, dozens of prototype tanks were designed, constructed, and tested, many of which never reached combat units. Archival production records indicate that more armored vehicle concepts were cancelled during development than were ultimately fielded. These prototypes were developed to explore new solutions to firepower, protection, mobility, and battlefield survivability under rapidly changing combat conditions. This video presents a complete catalog of every known prototype tank built during World War II. Examined systematically from origin to purpose and technical significance, this catalog covers prototype tank projects developed between 1939 and 1945. During the full operational period of World War II. The geographic scope includes the principal armor development centers of Europe, the Soviet Union, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Imperial Japan, with contextual reference to testing and evaluation environments in Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific. The content is organized by functional and technological role rather than by nation, grouping vehicles according to the problems they were designed to address. Included are fully constructed prototypes and near-production test vehicles. Excluded are taper-only design studies, post-war conversions, and vehicles that entered full serial production without substantial experimental divergence. Early war armor development was driven by the need to overcome limitations revealed by pre-war doctrine and first combat experience. Prototype tanks in this phase focused on mobility, mechanical reliability, and transitional armament concepts that bridged interwar designs and true wartime systems. CH-RB-1 Ter prototype France 1940 per heavy breakthrough tank. This prototype was developed to improve cross-country mobility and armor layout compared to the Char-B1 bis, which had proven mechanically complex. It was designed to address drivetrain vulnerability and limited operational endurance. A redesigned suspension and modified armor distribution were tested, but the collapse of France in 1940 ended further development. Its importance lies in illustrating early attempts to modernize heavy tanks under combat pressure. T-14 assault tank, United States, 1941 to 1942. Infantry support tank. This vehicle was developed jointly with British input to create a heavily armored assault tank suitable for European conditions. It was designed to address inadequate protection of early U.S. medium tanks. Excessive weight caused mobility issues, and testing revealed limited practical advantage over improved Sherman variants. The T-14 demonstrated the difficulty of balancing protection and mobility without mature powertrain technology. As combat experience accumulated, attention shifted toward anti-armor performance and heavier firepower, leading to experimental designs intended to counter increasingly capable enemy tanks. VK30.01H Germany 1941 per medium tank prototype, developed by Henschel. This vehicle was designed to explore heavier armor and higher caliber armament than the Panzer IV. It was designed to address the emergence of well-armored Soviet tanks encounter in 1941. Several chassis were built and used for testing suspension and drivetrain concepts. Its technical lessons fed directly into later German heavy tank development. United States 1942 per medium tank prototype. The T-20 series was developed to replace the M for Sherman with a more modern platform. It was designed to address limitations in gun power and transmission efficiency. Testing introduced new suspension and automatic transmission concepts, some of which proved unreliable despite cancellation. The T-20 line directly influenced the post-war M26 Pershing. By mid-war, prototype development increasingly reflected specialized battlefield roles, including assault, breakthrough, and anti-fortification missions. A 33 Excelsior United Kingdom 1943 per heavy infantry tank. This prototype was developed as a contingency replacement for the Churchill should its reliability issues persist. It was designed to address suspension weakness and armor vulnerability. Two prototypes were built with different suspension systems for comparison, although not adopted. It contributed data relevant to British heavy armor design philosophy. Object 212 Soviet Union 1940 per Super Heavy Assault Tank Prototype. This vehicle was developed to mount extremely large caliber artillery for bunker reduction. It was designed to address fortified German defensive positions. Construction progressed slowly, and the project was cancelled due to impractical size and weight. Its significance lies in illustrating Soviet experimentation at the upper limits of armored vehicle scale. As armored warfare intensified, designers pursued novel configurations intended to improve survivability and firepower without proportional increases in weight. VK45.02P Germany 1943 per heavy tank prototype, designed by Porsche. This vehicle was developed to compete with the Henschel Tiger to design. It was designed to address drivetrain efficiency using an electric transmission. Testing revealed severe mechanical complexity and reliability issues. The project's failure highlighted the risks of unproven propulsion systems under wartime constraints. T-23 medium tank United States 1943 per medium tank prototype. The T-3 was developed to test electric transmission systems for armored vehicles. It was designed to address power loss and steering inefficiency in conventional drivetrains. While unsuitable for combat use, its turret was adapted for the M for Sherman, indirectly improving U.S. tank firepower. By the later stages of the war, prototype tanks increasingly reflected urgent, sometimes extreme attempts to regain or maintain battlefield advantage. T-28 Super Heavy Tank United States 1944 assault tank prototype. This vehicle was developed to breach heavily fortified German defenses. It was designed to address the problem of frontal armor penetration resistance. Its exceptionally thick armor resulted in very low speed, limiting operational flexibility. Though completed too late for combat, it demonstrated the practical limits of armor-centric design. MAS Prototype Germany 1940 per Super Heavy Tank. The MAS was developed to create an invulnerable breakthrough vehicle. It was designed to address perceived survivability deficiencies of existing heavy tanks. 2. Prototypes were partially completed, and testing revealed extreme logistical and mobility limitations. Its historical importance lies not in combat value, but in defining the absolute boundary of viable armored vehicle mass. As the war approached its conclusion, prototype tank development became increasingly experimental, setting the stage for the doctrinal and technological transition that followed. By the middle of the war, a clear shift emerged in armored development philosophy. Early prototypes emphasized incremental improvement within existing doctrines, but combat experience demonstrated that survivability, firepower, and mobility could no longer be optimized independently. Advances in anti-tank weapons, battlefield reconnaissance, and combined arms coordination forced designers to reconsider the role of the tank itself. Prototype programs increasingly functioned as testbeds for concepts rather than immediate battlefield solutions. Electric transmissions, extreme armor schemes, and unconventional layouts reflected an understanding that post-war armored warfare would demand fundamentally different technical and doctrinal foundations than those that existed in 1939. In the final years of World War II, prototype tank development increasingly shifted towards systems that prioritized experimental concepts over immediate battlefield viability. These projects were developed under conditions of material shortage, compressed timelines, and rapidly evolving doctrine, and many were explicitly intended to explore technologies expected to mature after the war. E-100 Prototype Germany 1940 to 1945 Super Heavy Tank Prototype. The E-100 was developed as part of the Entwicklung series, intended to rationalize German tank production. It was designed to address manufacturing inefficiency and logistical strain caused by overly specialized designs. Only a partially completed chassis was produced before the war ended. Its significance lies in its attempt to standardize components across weight classes, a concept that later influenced post-war armored vehicle families. IS-7 Early Development Prototypes. Object 260 Soviet Union 1944 to 1945 Heavy Tank Prototype Series. These prototypes were developed to consolidate wartime experience into a single decisive heavy tank design. They were designed to address the need for high mobility combined with extreme firepower and protection. Multiple experimental hulls and turrets were tested with different armor layouts, and gun mountings. Although completed after the war, their conceptual origin reflects late-war Soviet priorities and directly influenced Cold War heavy tank doctrine. T-29 heavy tank United States, 1944 to 1945. Heavy tank prototype. The T-29 was developed to counter German heavy tanks expected during the invasion of Western Europe. It was designed to address limitations in firepower against heavily armored targets. Testing emphasized high-caliber gun integration and advanced fire control systems. Although it arrived too late for combat, it served as a critical test platform for post-war U.S. heavy tank technology. A 43 Black Prince United Kingdom, 1945. Heavy infantry tank prototype. This vehicle was developed as a heavily up-armored evolution of the Churchill. It was designed to address insufficient firepower against late-war German armor, while retaining infantry support capability. Only a small number were built, and the design was quickly rendered obsolete by shifts toward universal tank concepts. Its importance lies in marking the end of the dedicated infantry tank lineage. Beyond individual vehicles, these late-war prototypes collectively reveal a transition in design logic. Tanks were no longer viewed solely as tactical tools for specific battlefield roles, but as modular platforms for integrating new propulsion systems, suspension concepts, and fire control technologies. Many of these projects failed as operational vehicles, yet succeeded as engineering laboratories. The knowledge generated informed early Cold War main battle tank development, where versatility replaced specialization as the dominant principle. Taken together, World War II prototype tanks reveal a consistent pattern in armored warfare development under sustained operational pressure. Designers increasingly abandoned incremental refinement in favor of conceptual experimentation. These vehicles were developed to test solutions to specific battlefield problems, even when those solutions exceeded the industrial or logistical limits of the time. Although few prototypes achieved operational relevance, their cumulative impact was substantial. They shaped post-war doctrine by demonstrating which design paths were viable and which were not. This complete catalog shows that modern armored warfare did not emerge suddenly after 1945, but evolved directly from wartime experimentation. A complete understanding of tank history requires examining not only what was fielded, but also what was tested and abandoned.